1802. Price 120 euros. 1802. All right, so let's go see what the people look like as North American Indians, specifically in Canada and the USA. All right, in 1802. Right here, this means translates to North Indians, USA, how they look like in the USA and in Canada. Okay. Scroll up. Okay. You see the facial features, phenotype, the hair texture, the lock. Okay, like a ponytail. The jewelry around her neck, and then you pan up, and the type of hair, and of course a feather headdress right here. Skin complexion, phenotype, and so on and so forth in 1802. Okay. Even the child right here. In 1802. And again, if you're thinking, oh, they were just lost. So again, from 1492 to 1802, according to folks that don't want to admit that they are wrong, we have a map. Okay, let's go. All right, so again, 1802, published March 1st, 1802. This one, let's move this out the way. From Arrowsmith's map of the world, the entire world, okay? And the Indians are over in America because, let's pull it up, same year, 1802, okay? So again, if they were lost, they would have been looking for Hindustan. Okay, there's nowhere on this area of the world where it's listed as India. All right, that's why we keep finding stuff that says we are the Indians. All right, because over here was either Hindustan, Bharat, or Aryavarta. All right. So whenever Columbus or Colombo or Cologne, whatever his name is, whatever he looked like, whenever he left Spain or from Portugal, because he's Italian, whenever he left, he knew exactly where he was going. Because the country here was named Hindustan at the time, or Bharat or Aryavarta.
All right, I just want to cut in and say this is a map of North America. Look at is this just Gad and Issachar? Look at all the tribes here, man. Look at all the tribes. This is something they wrote and they knew. Now, the Israelite camp leaders, they wasn't here, right? So they just saying what they thought their leaders said, what the One West leaders said, you know. But even the One West leaders said that the Native Americans and the Mexicans that we see today are not Issachar and Gad. But this is the covering. The tribes, the different tribes have spread it out all over America. This was not just 3 tribes. This was 12 tribes who had been here almost 2,000 years, populating out of captivity. In captivity they populate 2 million every 20 years. Out of captivity, I'm sure it was much more. You calculate that you divide 1,500 years or maybe more. Start at 1,500 years, you divide that by 20. And then you multiply 2 million times 20, times whatever that number is. You divide 1,000 years in sections of 20, and then you multiply those sections by 2 million. Just say 2 million, the captivity number. You will get over 300 million people spread it across in these tribes. These are territories now. But look at the territories, the different territories that the tribes, they inhabit the whole land more than they do now. Right? And you know, Issachar was basically in Mexico, South America, going down. You could walk from Mexico to South America, like they're coming across the border now. It's a lot of land connecting down there. So let's keep watching. I just want to bring that point out to people who say that that the Northern Kingdom was already in South America, in South and the Caribbeans down there. No, maybe some had marooned down there, but you could always walk from South America or take a quick little sail ride or a rowboat from Cuba and Haiti. You know, you can always get back to North America very easily. So, but the best land is North America and Canada. These are the best viable lands to live on. That's why everybody's trying to get here now, right? Now we see Chinese. What's that? Is that Chinese? Yeah, Chinese. Shani, is that Shani? Chinese? Chinese, yeah, right there. Mongolia. They stole these names. The Europeans stole these names after they got over here, and they placed them on the people across the waters, the lands. They renamed Moab's land, right, to Chinese and Japanese. Shiny. Remember those Indians? Here they are right here. Y'all get a good look, man. This is fascinating. So we know the camps are wrong. The camp leaders, they are wrong. They took the Northern Kingdom down and to make their empires and to do their slave work all over South America. And they didn't need to take them back to Europe, right? There was enough Africans there. You know, there was enough of us there. They didn't need to take these people. At the most, they took them on those ship rides to where they could unload the cargo, right? But black people were working for white people as indentured servants over across in the third part, Europe and Africa. We were already scattered in Africa. Mulattoes, the tear. Okay, so let's get back.
So they knew exactly where they were going. And again, it's a map of the entire world. In 1802, when they were calling us Indians, and they still are calling us Indians today, the United States Department of Justice still refers to us as Indians, and so should we. Still are calling us Indians today. The United States Department of Justice still refers to us as Indians, and so should we. Right here, the world. This over here was Hindustan or Bharat or Aryavarta, and over here was India. So we have India superior right here and India inferior right here. The whole entire continent from Canada, USA, the West India Islands, and South America is still called India today, officially. And officially, over here is still called Hindustan or Bharat or Aryavarta today, officially. We showed you the website from 2025. They're still
Okay, so what he is saying, if you want to make reference to how they see us, Indians. Now, that word don't exactly mean savages, right? That's a word they gave us. That's a byword to hide us from ourselves. They make references, but it also identify us at the same time. They're not calling anybody else Indians, right? This land, they refer to this land as where the Indians are. We use that word. In other words, if they were in a conversation to themselves, they had to explain to somebody who were not Israelites. They said, we use that word because to hide them. It's a byword to hide them from their true identity. So whenever you hear us say Indians, well, you know we're talking about the Israelites, who we have stole their identity. So really, at the same time, the people whose identity they have stolen, they have labeled them a special label, and they don't put that label on anybody else. So when they call you an Indian, you know they're saying these are the people whose identity we have stolen because we labeled them, right? We labeled these people. Fair use. So we can use their bywords to identify ourselves and to use by the words of their own mouth. We can use it for indictment references. You know, it's an injury. It's it was meant to injure us, steal our identity, genocide us, remove us from our own identity. They put bywords on. The bywords are a crime. Remember that. Jesse Jackson committed a crime, and everybody that called us outside of our name, they helped to commit the crime. So if somebody called you a black Hebrew Israelite, they are committing a crime against you because they are helping to steal your identity, intending to hurt you and harm you and to destroy you from being the people who God made you to be. So you ain't got to ask them, please don't call me black Hebrew. You say, you know, that's an indictment, right? I could charge you injury. That's an injury you're doing. You ain't got to beg them no more. Just say that's an injury. You look at that. You tell them that's an assault and that's an injury, and you are doing me harm. You are intentionally causing me psychological harm. And according to the Constitution, that's a crime. That's a crime according to the Constitution. I read it to y'all the other day. I showed you it by statute and code that's a crime. To intentionally cause emotional distress on somebody. And and you know, like you say, well, he stole my milk. That you can't use that. You got to use something that was intentionally harmed you, and violently. It was violence. It's violence, and it's out of the it's out of the ordinary, right? It ain't something that happened to everybody. So that makes it out of the ordinary. It makes it an ordinary, uh, monstrous violence, because they don't do it to everybody. They do it as a way to steal from you, to cut you off from your identity, to cause you emotional distress, change your image. They're totally robbing you, and so that's unusual and that's intentional. And whoever participate in that, like just like all of the government, whether it be Republican or whoever decide they're going to call you a byword other than what you identify yourself as, the same way they gave the LBGQ people uh, uh, protection. You call them out of their name, out of who they identify as, genters, genitalia. God assigned a gender to them by birth, by how He made their genitalia. Now they said, "Well, I'm gonna change that, and I got these genitalia that God assigned to me, but I want you to call me the title of, I want to steal that female's title, her gender. I want to steal her gender. I want you to look at me and call me a woman. If you don't, I'm gonna have you locked up for abuse, for for that same crime." So that's the same way with us, man. We can take them to court for calling us black Hebrew Israelites. The news, we can sue these news reporters and news stations that call us black Hebrew Israelites. Based on this right here, they know who we are. They're calling us Indians. We might accept that, because that's identifying us. But when they intentionally call us black Hebrew Israelites, not only are they gaslighting us, but they're telling the rest of the world to look at us like we're crazy, because we don't know we're feeble-minded, we're not stable, we're not logical, and we should be considered thugs, criminals, and people who they should be afraid of. And you can't even do that in business. Talk about another contract and tell everybody don't trust him, he gonna do it. You can't do that. If us taking our identity back and calling the fake small hats and indicting them for the crime they committed against us, then if that's medics, a shim, whatever, medic, then them calling us something that we don't identify, by putting a label on us as far as our identity, that's not their responsibility, and that's criminal, because they're causing the rest of the world to segregate from us and and feel like it's all right to harm us. If they keep using those names because the media and Department of Justice and the presidents and the senators do it, we can sue them individually, because they're causing the rest of the world to disrespect us. And that is causing emotional distress on us. Y'all got to learn how to look at that like that, and we got to come together in unity and file those lawsuits. That's all you have to do. Do it in unity, where they just can't pick out one person. You can't ask one person to fight for you and you sit your butt back and reap the benefits. Y'all sign them petitions and take them lawsuits in there together, man. And then what we're doing is making a statement that these people are harming us. This particular group of people are harming us. And so they can't then at that point say, well, we are attacking them for nothing. No, we're defending ourselves. And if they walk up in your face and start saying, hey, look at these criminals, look at these thugs, they're going to hurt y'all, we can shut their mouths then. We can punch them in the mouth, man. Slap the hell out of them. The little individuals. When they say that, nigga, that's what I want to say, that word, uh, where you uh cause people to stop and take a look at a criminal. They're criminalizing us and demonizing us to the public, and that could be harmful. Like Stephen A. Smith and all of those people, they want to criminalize us for saying Christians are not teaching out of the Bible and try to make laws where they could indict us. It's the same thing. We can reverse that. Really, they are doing it. They're projecting on us because they know that they are guilty of a crime, and now they're trying to hit you before you hit them with the indictments, like their courts have always done, like their prosecutors always done. The first man that'll stand up and indict them and accuse his partner in crime, he get the leniency. So we just want one of y'all. We just want somebody. If y'all stick together and nobody indict y'all, and nobody accuse the other person, then we can't indict you. We don't have enough evidence. So that's what they're doing. They're pointing out our indictment and our claim of injury as a lie, and saying that's causing people to look at them, and it might even cause people to come and try to harm them. They get death threats and stuff like that. So the same with us. But they are really doing it. They are really guilty, but they're projecting and running in court, filing a claim that we are the people that's harming them. And they are just defending this, and they want to let you know and inform the courts and authorities that they might have to defend themselves against you. Right? That's the whole plan. So let's keep listening.
Calling it Hindustan. And the United States Department of Justice is still referring to our people and our country as Indian country or India officially. You can even make your way over to the Library of Congress, and we have names. All right? So,
you see here, we have names. The Congress have names, people who have went on record. Cherokee Indian, Joe Harris, Cherokee Indian, a squatter in the former Mauritania Hospital, 167th Street in Gennard Avenue, the Bronx. So, yeah, he has filed this, and he made it such a public declaration that they had to record it and hold it in the Library of Congress that he did this. They made the declarations. He made the declarations, and he offered proof, and so they had to record it in the Library of Congress and keep it there. So that's what we got to do as a people. Come out, unite. This dude right here on this video, he has the proof right here. He's showing you. So we all need to unite together. And they are going to say God watches over, the Most High watches over his word to perform it. Right? His word don't go out void. So when he told the prophet Hosea to write in the first chapter, the 10th and 11th verse, that we were going to be like the sands of the sea, that's he watched over his word to perform it. He brought these other nations down and raised us up in number. And he woke us up and put the spirit in us and gave us the truth. So he watched over that 10th verse. So that it also said that we're in the land of where you have been carried away captive, where it was said unto you, you are not God's people, where God even said, you're not my people. He said they are going to say, these are the sons of the living, daughters of the living God. These are the sons of the living God, means sons and daughters, the children. That word translate back to children of the living God, the chosen ones. Like they've been saying. They've been saying it individually now. They gather together, and it has to go down on record that they have declared as a group, as a majority group of people who they are. Long as one or two are straggling in and out, they might give you $10 or $15 just to get rid of you. Now go somewhere and sit down, children. You feeble-minded little children, until everybody as a collective come together and say, this is who we are. That's how it works, because we have the Native American peoples, a mixture group of people came and claimed our heritage, and they put them in the Library of Congress. You can look at them and tell, and you got all the records showing who the real people are. But if we let them claim our heritage and we don't dispute it, then what they gonna do? All they doing is recording stuff, and going up and saying there is a account for the indigenous people of this land, because the people who occupy us been selling. They have been selling our heritage away to the rest of the world. Now, if you want your heritage, if you want what's yours, you got to go say, hey, that's mine. You can't sell that. And we got all these people here. What do you think a little courtroom of people going to say when you got 2 or 3 million people standing out and around the court and in the court and saying you stole our stuff and you can't sell it no more? Tear that paperwork up. We claim this land. And then you move 2 million of y'all in Indianapolis, Indiana, into a community, and y'all start building on land that ain't nobody where nobody is at. And what do you think? They're going to bring the military in and just kill 2 million of y'all for taking your heritage back? But 1 or 2 of y'all can't take it back, man.
Right here, Library of Congress, Joe Harris, Cherokee Indian, a squatter in the former Morrisania Hospital, 167th Street at Girard Avenue, Bronx, New York, USA, 1996. And this is the Indian they are referring to. Okay? He looks like us. It's not Asian, not European.
I want you to know that I didn't see this video. I'm just as surprised, not as surprised, but that I just by studying and listening to the Spirit of God, everything He's about to say, I've been teaching it on this channel for years, and they've been unsubscribing and unliking all of my 2,700. I think the highest was 80 subscribers. And then every now and then you'll see where they'll go in, they'll try to discourage me, they'll unsubscribe 1 or 2. And so they was listening to me the last time I was talking to a friend of mine, talking about that didn't matter. An hour later, maybe not even an hour, they went in and subscribed 15 to 20 subscribers. It don't matter to me how many subscribers I have, because the Most High God is going to let this video, and then you'll all know. I got all these videos already recorded on 2 terabytes on my computer. Everything I recorded on this channel, I got it recorded, so they can take it down all they want. They can take my channel. I still got it. I still got the materials that I can send to people. I have the videos. I have the proof. I can send these to groups. All we have to do is to unite, and then we won't have to worry about them taking stuff and being. We don't even want them to see our strategy. All we want to do is wake our people up. That's why we use these platforms to wake each other up. But we don't need them. They need us. So if they want us to go in secret and go in the upper room and wake each other up like that, where they won't have no way of knowing what our progress is, then they can take this channel down. They can try to sabotage everything we put on here, but they can't erase prophecy. They can't stop prophecy from happening. The Bible, God watches over his word. He gave Hosea the prophecy. It's going to happen. They are going to become the minority on earth. They already are the minority of all the people, but they're going to become the minority in America. They are going to fight each other, bloodthirst. They're going to fight each other like they put us against each other and make us fight over crumbs. They're going to be fighting because the Most High is going to, he's going to watch over his word and make sure what the prophets said, what he showed the prophets was going to happen, is going to happen. They're going to fight each other. He got a hook in their nose. He's going to bring them together. Everything they're doing to us, and they read the prophecy and they say, well, let's do this to them since he's going to do this to us. That's just keeping them in that circle of the prophecy. That's a loop. They stuck in the loop. What they do to us, he do to them. They say we're going to do it to them because he's going to do it to us. They stuck in a loop. God going to do this to us, we're going to do it to his people. You're going to do it to my people, I'm going to do it to you even faster. Let's do it to him, to the people faster. Who you think going to win in the loop? They going to lose. But back to this, I didn't even know. And you see his features when they say Gad. They say Gad with the nose, high cheekbones and the nose. Right? The bridge of the nose. But we were all mixed together. We all mixed up together.
He looks like us. Speaking of 1996, we made a video about what the Indians look like. There was a cartoon, I think, back in 1996. I think it was called Pocahontas and the Princess of the American Indians. If you guys are interested, let us know in the comments below. Please be specific so we can send you that video to check it out. So basically, in that movie, all the Indians look like us, and then like later on, they just whitewash it where they just look like Asians and white people. But before they whitewashed it, the Indians were all portrayed like us with our hair, with locks and braids and stuff like that, like what you see in front of you. And here as well, again, we'd see with the mohawk and all that good stuff right here. So let us know. We'll send it to you so you can check it out. And here as well with the feather headdress. So we're gonna do a quick compare and contrast between the mohawk and what Mr. T looked like. And as you can see, they look very similar as far as the skin complexion, the hairstyle, so on and so forth. We have more that we haven't shown in a while, so we're gonna show it now. Right here, the Atlanta Braves mascot, and you see the uncanny resemblance of the people in the photo as well. The American Indian, the Amerindian, the Indian. They are us. We are them. All right. And we also have here, again, the Roget's International Thesaurus, and they talk about the synonyms. All right. So, brave is an Indian, American Indian, Amerindian. We also have red Indian, red man, red skin, buck, brave. All ties into us, Indians. We even have two videos breaking down the definition of brave, how it ties directly to us as well. But as you can see, this depiction looks like us. Here is another depiction that looks like us. Right here as well. Right here as well. And here as well. Again, we have two videos.
Now you wonder why were the Braves, who were white owners or white players, why did they use for a mascot a black Indian? Well, actually, they were mocking us, but they were telling us who we are, who they consider the Indians to be. And I'm going to show you the beginning of this video. I'm recording this for my own purpose. I might take bits and pieces out of it later, but I'm going to put it in my archive, so in case they try to take it down, try to do something with his channel. This is a very educational channel. But yeah, they were mocking us, and at the same time, they were showing us our identity.
Breaking down the definition of brave, and it ties directly to us, the American Indians, the Amerindian, the Indian, and they look like us.
So, in other words, this is their blackface, right? This is them putting on blackface, mocking us. Look at you can tell by the expressions that they're using for the comic expressions.
And as you can see here,
this is blackface, right? This is what you call blackface. They paint all of us the same shade. That's identity. It was meant to harm us mentally, to bring us down and make us hate ourselves, make us into animal-like creatures, right? People, animalistic, beastly, right? They get what we would call, what you probably would call, the older people, and use them as our people who they show as in references to how we look. But what they consider the worst looking of our group, the oldest, the darkest, and they reference them to identify or to show what we look like. When we are much better, we have much better looking people that they can reference than the old and the feeble-minded coons, right? They get their coons, the old coons, and the feeble-minded people. When we have a much better looking population than our young, beautiful women and men, that we make them look like the beast. They are the beast. We got videos and pictures of them in their worst appearance. They show all their people, all their beautiful people, when they want to show their references to how their race look, how their people look, then they go pick out what they call the most beautiful people. They all are ugly. Every one of them, they are the devils. And then they take their clothes off because they know there's something working in your mind that mechanism, sexual attraction, that appeal that turns on the dopamine in your brain when you see a naked body. That's why they got our women and their women walking around naked, because they know that man, that demobilize you, because that dopamine start flowing in your body. It's made like that to when you see a naked body to attract you to keep you populating the earth. Ain't that what God said? Replenish the earth. So He placed a mechanism in us to where we would want to replenish the earth. When we see the nakedness of opposite sex, we will desire to have intercourse so we can replenish the body. Because men and women can get caught up so much on day-to-day life. If they didn't have nothing to bring them back to pleasure, the devil would have us in distress and not, no pleasure at all. The devil don't want us to be in any pleasure on this earth. They don't even want us to celebrate when we do something we're proud of, like score a touchdown or make a basket or do some acrobatical feat. They don't want you to celebrate because the devil hates seeing you happy. That means he's not doing his job.
The Cleveland Indians, again, look at who they were imitating and depicting.
Yeah, that's another thing. The Braves, the Fever, the Cleveland Indians. Why are they using us for their names and mascots? They're telling us who we are, and they're laughing because we can't catch on. But they didn't know. Eventually, God was going to wake us up, and all the evidence is out here by their hands and mouths and artists and everything they did. Their mockery is identifying who we are. Why are they not marking any other race of people? Because they're in our land, stole our identity, and they're flossing and bragging about it and showing the rest of the world, look what we done. It's a big thing to capture the God of the earth, the gods of the earth. That's a big thing, man. That ain't no small thing. They want recognition for this. Look what we did. We captured the God of this earth, and we took their inheritance and we spread it all around. And we put since you can't really tell who they are when they intermingle with each other because they all black. We took and shared and put our people in charge, the Edomites, the white terror, Tare, Tare. We put them. You don't know. You can't differentiate between the Africans and the Japhites and the Israel and the Shemites when you mix them together. But if the Edomites, who are Shemites, mix with either one of those race, then they have a light-skinned mulatto people. And since we are the smallest of all the people on the earth, we mixed with all of them, and then we took our offspring and made dignitaries out of them, representatives of Edomites in every land, and we put them in government. We gave them weapons and guns and told them to hold the fort. Hold these people down. Right? We're going to rule the world, but we need y'all, our bastard children, to hold the fort. Okay? That's why they made references to us. It was mockery. So the rest of the world, the rest of their world, the Edomite world, would have a landmark, a idol and an understanding just by looking. You can read this picture like they making fun of whoever these dark skinned people are. Look at them. They made them look like animals, and they put these, a cartoon. They let you know they people and their kids growing up. Look at these people. Funny looking people look like animals. They look like the black people. Yeah, and so it's easy to tell the story with pictures, right? Yeah, we conquered them. We are great because we conquered the gods of the earth. We did it. No help from nobody. We did it. They don't. They ain't telling you God subdued us for them. God held us down while they put their handcuffs on us. And then he put fear on us so we could say, well, they got us in handcuffs with these guns pointing out at us. We got the strength to break a loose and beat their ass, but we know God is going to help them again. So we going against God if we fight these people. These are the people he chose over us. And that's how we've been looking at this thing. But now they know that we understand that the Most High woke us up and told us to stand against him, against the evildoers. Stand with him against these evildoers because they holding us too long. He told them to let us go and to restore us and to restore our souls, and they didn't. So now we on a mission. He's gonna hold them down while we get free. And then if we're free and gathered together, they're going to say they are the sons of the living God. We can't mess with them no more. God is back fighting for them again. All praise.
The red skin, the red man, the red Indian. Us. Right here. The uncanny resemblance of the Cleveland Indians. And then we have here.
Now, do they look like them people down there? Did they make those animals look like those men down there? Let's look. Let's look at the features. Okay.
The uncanny resemblance of the Cleveland.
Let's see. I think they did, man. I think they took those expressions off those men's faces and put it on those animals. Let's look one more time. Okay, and now let's look. Nah. Yeah, they did. They took those expressions and draw them into those animals.
Right here. The uncanny resemblance of the Cleveland Indians. And then we have here as well, in 1925, the Cleveland Indian mascot looks like us.
See that? Cleveland Indians were white men playing the baseball, but they used him as a mascot, meaning we took their land. And now we got them as a mockery, jumping around, rooting, making the people laugh, it's a boring game watching them. So we got something to humor the people. They come to see the niggers, the Indians. These the real Indians they came to see. But these Indians right here, this Indian right here, he ain't worth shit. He's not athletic. The real Indian now, if you put his father and his uncles and his brothers out there in this uniform that this fake ass Indian got on, then you're gonna see a real show. You won't need a mascot. But they need help. They need something else to help draw people to the arena where they can make money. And they are the cheerleaders. The Cleveland white man Indian is the cheerleader. The people came to see this Indian here, the real Indian. See them march him around. That he's the spectacle. This Indian here is nothing but the trainer.
And then we have here as well, in 1925, the Cleveland Indian mascot looks like us. Right here. We are the Indians. And also here, the newspaper clipping. We have postcards and stamps. So if you
see that, why didn't the Cleveland Indian man stand there by himself? He wasn't a big enough premier. He couldn't be a premier by himself. Nobody cares about him. The fact that they have our children in their possession. They made a postcard out of it, made a news story. The news story about, look at this man, look what we do. They're flossing, they're bragging. Again, we have this land, we have their children's head in our hands. We have the children of the gods and the judges on the earth. We have their heads in our hands. That's what Trump was saying when he held that Bible upside down. We have their history upside down in our hands. We have conquered the gods of the earth. The rest of the world need to look at us as the God slayers, the judges. We slayed, we stole their identity, we took their heritage, and we will never leave their land. And who can bring us down? Who can make us leave? Fair use. My brother, this is a dynamic video. I hope my family members can see and follow along. This is great information. Let me see if I can blow this up. Cleveland Indian with mascot opening of the new $125,000 athletic field at Lakeland, Florida. That's Florida. Their training camp is at Lakeland. Yeah. No, this is Cleveland. That must be a street. Lakeland. It's a street. Their training camp. Hemp posted with manager Trice speaker after his presentation to the club. Other dignitaries in attendance beside him include Judge Kennesaw M. Ladis, Commissioner of Baseball, and H.M. Sexton, President of the National Association of Baseball Clubs. They called him a mascot. Why did they use this young naked black man as a mascot? Black boy. They call him a man as a mascot. You tell me.
You need the whole breakdown of this right here. The Cleveland Indian mascot, Hamp is his name, H-A-M-P, in Lakeland, Florida. So we know where we are geographically. Let us know in the comments below. We'll send you the entire video we did about postcards and stamps of the actual people in India, in Indian country, which is here. Again, this is official.
So, and another thing about that, those titles and labels, again, we got to listen to these people. They call this India. This is the real India. That's why, just think of Kamala Harris now. Now it makes sense. Kamala Harris, they said she was Indian. She was an Indian. She was from India. That's from here. That's from the Americas. She is an American citizen. what they classified as India, the people from this land, the bloodline. We were scattered all over the earth. How you know they didn't? She looked like us. How you know they didn't take us back over to Africa, where there's Indians, which we call them. What's the word that God called them? Dang, I didn't forgot that nation. Man, how could I do that? They're part of the 18 nations that God created, the 17, because we have, the 16, because we know we have the northern and southern kingdom, which are nations. We are becoming one nation. Dang, I can't think of what the Bible calls those Hindu people. But they had us in captivity too. So, but this land, they call it India. Indians. That's what they call it. That's an indictment. That's an identifying marker to who we are. So we don't just discount all the bywords. The bywords have landmarks in them. They have references and clues. The bywords are clues, okay, to how these people refer to us. They don't refer to any other people, but so that's identifying us again. Again, that's an identifying marker. What they call us is an identifying marker of our identity.
All right. The Civil Rights Department of Justice has this place as Indian country, and we are the Indians. And you see, this is him again, the Indian mascot, Indian, right here.
Ain't that something? The Indian mascot. That means he represent the Indians. Cleveland Indians. He represent the people who they, I'm being redundant, but for a reason, the people who they conquered. And that's all this means. Look, we conquered them. We have their children's head in our hands. I mean, they taught us, they can teach us, they can program us, they can construct us again through our children to be whoever they want us to be, to reform to the image of them who are God's, because they conquered God's chosen people that made them the gods, that gave them the title deed to everything. And because we don't contest it. Right? We don't contest who they say they are, them still in our identity. We don't call them criminals. We call them massa. Right? We call them patriotic. Right? We call them the great inventor. Right? The powerful. What does that brother with ISUPK come on Wednesday night? Esau's a bad man. Esau's a bad man, man. He cutting. He cutting. He cutting. Yeah. We call them great. And we forget how great God is and how powerful he is when we even look at this man and look at his weapons. Oh, we have no power against them. We forget about the power of the Most High God, who said we are his people. And he's not God to nobody else. He ain't going to help nobody else but us. We forget that. We overlook all of that because this man got his hand on our heads, on our children's head, that he's reconstructed us.
Again, these are just questions you can ask any of the folks in Hindustan where the name India or Indian came from.
There you go.
And they would tell you, yes, correct. India or Indians referred to Americans or the Americas first. There's nothing that comes before first, right? Aryavarta and Hindustan were earlier names for what we know today as India of the East. Again, so we're going to read that again. We asked regular people. India was in America first, right? Correct. India or Indians referred to Americans and the Americas first. Aryavarta and Hindustan, you saw the map, were earlier names for what we know today as India of the East. Officially, Hindustan didn't get the name India until what year? Put it down in the comments below. And then we have another breakdown right here. Again, as an Indian, in quotation marks, from India, in quotation marks. I'd like to clarify that the word India, in quotation marks, is not, okay, not native to our land of Hindustan, all right? Our civilizational identity is better captured by the word Bharat. I have visited reservations in the New Mexico area and have fond memories. Much love and respect to Native American people and their culture. And you notice he doesn't say the word Indian.
So Indians and Mexicans, he called them Native American peoples. And we know that because Indians look like Asians. So do the Native American people, who they call the indigenous people of this land. But we notice up here where I didn't read this, but you know the commentary, the breakdown I just gave you before is saying the same thing. That India is not native to India in Africa. They named that land, those people who I can't get the you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm even tempted to go pull that list out and find these people on here. But they're the white people of India. They are that white people. I'm gonna pull that out, man. I got to pull it out. All right. It's Elam. India, Elam, right? It's right up under Edom, the white man. Then they go to Elam, Edom, Elam, Asher, the Syrians, Aram, that's Ishmael. They got Elam right under the white man. Then they got the Ishmael people right after that. And then you got the Chinese, that's Moab, and Japanese. And then you got the Ethiopians, that's the African nations. And then you go again, you got South Africa, Turkey, Russia, Greeks. That's Japhet. Javan, that's Japhet, right? That's the Europeans up there, which were that's Japhet's land. So you got Israel, then you got Edomites, and then you got Arabs, then you got Edomites again, Chinese and Japanese. Those are Moab. That's Moab. That's Shemites. Then you got Ethiopian. That's Ham. That's Ham's people. Then they go again to Japhet, who Gog and Magog, who Russia took over the land. So we have many faces, and dimensions of how these people of sociology, it took on different dimensions. People moved in and out, stole identities all over the earth. The Edomites are responsible for most of that. Most people stayed in their own land, and Edomites, they moved in, created coups, toppled governments, moved people out of their land, and took over their land and identity.
Proof that the Native Americans are not American Indians. All right? So let's go, but we can read up here first. So right here, how did India's name became Bharat? Bharat, the name for India in several Indian languages.
Elam.
Let's move this.
It's Elam.
Is mainly derived from the name of the Vedic tribe of Bharatas, who are mentioned in the Rig Veda as one of the principal kingdoms of Aryavarta. It is also variously said to be derived from the name of either Dushyanta's son Bharata of Mahabharata. Okay?
Now they're only giving you recent history. They're not giving you Elam is an Edomite. It's when the Edomites took over. I'm thinking Africa. They blended Africa and the Arabians and Ishmael together. African and Ishmael and Elam and Edomites. That's Elam, right? And they're part of Asia, probably Moab with them, right? So as Edom conquered those places, his seed was spread in those 4 places. And then, like they always do, the mulattoes come together to create another group of people who are sympathetic to white supremacy, to the movement of the Edomites, all the nations, all the kings taking over and becoming one, establishing a new race of people that would be subject to the head Edomite. And the more they blend with each other, the more that dominant lack of melanin, degenerate gene, recessive gene takes over and get rid of their melanin and turn their eyes back blue as a group, and straight blonde hair or red hair. The more they weed out offspring from mating, from participating in the mating pool, the marriaging of people who only look close to their phenotype, and they can weed out a native phenotype, and that's how they get their numbers up. Yeah, let's watch.
So Indian, let's get it. Indian and India, okay, comes from us. The Europeans did not give us that name.
Okay.
We have another video proving that.
I like that.
Let us know in the comments below.
I stand corrected, but I like it.
All right. Again, this is also official in our own United States calendars, right? It used to say right here, holidays in United States, holidays in United States. First day of American Indian Heritage Month. And then we have Native American Heritage Day, a month and a day are not interchangeable. So they are talking about two separate groups of people. All right.
Now, again, why would we call ourselves the first day of American? Why would we establish this over here? That's after slavery, man. That ain't what we called ourselves before slavery. See, again, they're only going back so far to establish his talking points. So that's why I'm coming in and making references, fair use. We didn't call ourselves this. We know why we came over here. The only story we had to tell our children was that we are Israelites from the northern kingdom of Israel that escaped captivity of Syria and moved over, and God brought us across the water through the turbulent waters and the high winds and the tornadoes and the hurricanes, and took us a year and a half to leave there and get over here to North America. When we got here, it was like a land of milk and honey, and we began by coming together as one people and to helping and loving each other, and then we got so great, just like when Moses, when Abraham and Lot, they migrated, right, into Asia, into that part of and then as they grew, now when you grow, the more people you got, the more potential violence, and unrest, or arguments, disagreement, whatever. The more potentially you're going to have, because the young people, they're going to get grudges against each other growing up. People going to have arguments and disagreements, and they hold on to them as a people. They hold on to that and call you their enemies because of them. That's how their mind works without godliness, right? And that's the same way over here. If you don't have a priest and the laws set up, if you don't have them set up and force people to follow them, and then if you try to force people to follow God's laws, we know by experience, then they're going to segregate from you and call you the enemy and say you're trying to rule over them as kings. So you can't do that. You have to let God. Only way this is going to work, God got to write those laws in our heart. He had to do it the way he did it. We had to become world slaves, and then he had to show us what the knowledge of evil is. And the knowledge of evil was unleashed when Adam ate from whatever that forbidden fruit was. Adam and Eve ate from it, and then the knowledge of evil had permission. We evoked the knowledge of evil when we ate. We summoned it on ourselves, the knowledge of evil. So that's going to stay with humanity because we opened up that porthole and let it out. So that's why when they got over here, I said that to say when they got over here, their intentions was to keep God, the Most High's laws. They knew what it was. They knew who they were. They did not make this calendar before slavery. They didn't have to identify. Only way they had to identify a day or to set aside a day to remember their cultures because they had moved them away from their culture. These were captive, reconstructed people, and they said we got to always step back and remember our day because we were becoming too assimilated into these people's culture, into what they designed as a culture, meaning take all the laws, all memory of who we were, take it away. You saw that in the Maccabees. Take it away from them. Take everything, our remembrance of who they were, cut them off from being a people. We see this happening as we assimilate, and we have to step back and remember who we are so we don't forget. because they took it away from us. And the little bit we can remember about who we are, we got to keep passing that to our children. If not, these people are going to erase us from our own memory. You hear what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's keep watching. So that's how he's talking about a modern day. No, he ain't really explaining the psychology in this, in what they're doing in their crafty counsel. Because you notice he's not mentioning any crafty counsel, any parts of the Bible. He's just going on what he can put together, piece together history without the Bible, without the true history book. I appreciate the information, sir, but you are hiding the true history, the most reputable references of history. You are eliminating it. So I got to do this video.
For clarity, we are over here on the left. This is us. This is not us over here. All right? This is us over here. This is us. Not like us. So there's a difference. Again, so that just we just made our way back again to India superior, India inferior, or I guess India major, and India minor. Okay? And it's in the Americas. The real name officially is Indian country or India.
Now he said the real name, that's deceiving. He's erasing the Bible again. You got to watch these people. He said what the white man established is they took their clues from us. We wasn't calling ourselves India over here. We knew who we were. We wasn't calling ourselves India. That's how the Moors established Asiatic, because India is in the territory that they call Asiatic, the Ruth, the Moab, the Ruth territory. Let me see, Ruth was a Moabite, right? Yeah, they go back to Ruth. So yeah, we wasn't calling ourselves Indians. You saw when they got here, they saw, if that was the case, how did they get all these references and monuments to Hebrew culture? And Hebrew, we knew who we were. We were the Northern Kingdom. We were the 10 tribes from the Northern Kingdom. Why would they change and just say, okay, we're going to just erase that? We erase ourselves. By saying we were Indians, we erased ourselves. We were erasing who we were. We didn't go around erasing ourselves. Nobody does that. And then keep the culture that we kept when we were another people. We would have changed the whole culture if we was trying to hide ourselves from ourselves. You don't teach the culture and then call yourself somebody else. And then read the book that calls you the 10 tribes, the Northern Kingdom. You read that book and teach that to your kids, but you change your name. That don't make sense, man. So that's where these people are not thinking. And this guy right here, he's probably getting paid, since the truth is out, he's probably getting paid to, at the very end, hold them back, use this crafty counsel, don't reference the Bible at all. And go back and teach a bit of, so we can mislead the few that we have left who are ignorant and don't know and don't have the Spirit of the Most High living in them. No way you would teach the readings, the writings of the Most High God, the laws of God, that's the mind of God, to your children, and teach who gave you that law. Teach your children who God called us, the 10 tribes of Israel, but we don't want to be that no more. But we'll keep the customs, and we just want y'all to start calling yourself Indians, meaning no name. You have no background. This is your background, Hebrew, Israelites, but we want to just give you another name. Erase your name. Erase your name. Erase your heritage, but keep the culture. That don't make sense. That's how you know. You can always know a fraud when you see one. This is fraud he's teaching us.
And even here, let's get a close up. 1492. So, right here, 1492 to 1493. So, Columbus got to the Americas in 12 October 1492, and he went back to Portugal, Lisbon, in March, 4th of March, 1493. You notice that since they are claiming that he was lost, you notice his route, he never ever double backed to Hindustan. Because if you made a grave error like that, wouldn't you be like, oh, okay, since I'm lost and I know I'm lost, let's go to the real Hindustan. But again, he never did that because he was never going to Hindustan. They were always going to India. Always. Right here. India. The whole.
See what he's saying? If he was looking for India, Hindustan, he would have stayed on the continent of Africa. Why didn't he? If he was looking for Hindustan, like I guess somebody's saying they're trying to teach that he was really looking for India. This is the India he was looking for in North America here. This is the India, what he's saying. I appreciate his research, even though we know that he's intentionally leaving out the Bible. He couldn't do all this research and not stumble up on the Bible when we are broadcasting it, blasting it loud as we can on the streets in this day and time, and he's totally ignoring the reference that the Bible made to who these people really are. He's saying, no, they were just on here. We don't believe in the flood. We don't believe in no ark or nothing like that. We don't believe in the Bible. We just going to say these people. Now, see, like I was telling somebody else, to omit the Bible is to say you're crazy as hell, right? To omit that there is a creator, how do you explain people existing on earth? An intelligent people with the biology that we have, and when you look out and see how the universe is established and set in its place, the earth evolving around an axle around the sun, and all of that moving around never moves the earth off its course and keeps it at perfect distance, because if the earth was 3 miles closer to the sun, it would disintegrate. But something holds everything in line, and the intelligence of the people, and you just gonna say we just exist. We don't know how we exist. We just exist. We was just here over here. I don't know how we got here. Columbus had to come over here. Who made these people on this land in America different from the people, the Africans and all of these 17 nations I read to you? Who made them different and who set them in the different lands? When we travel and move around freely, because he can't explain. He'd have to explain how we got to this, that we came from one land. Because if the Bible says the ark was set down with all the animals on it in Turkey. That's where they found the ark. In case they hide it and say we don't know where it landed. That ark is sitting there in Turkey. And so if America was over here, look at all this land, all this water. How did the lizards travel across the ocean? The squirrels, let's see, the dogs, let's see, the buffalo, the mountain lion, the antelopes, the deer, the birds. How did they? You mean it took the ships, the boats that it took them about. They said it take a month now. You take a month if you sail across the Atlantic in the type of transportation they had. They said it take at least about 6 weeks. So you want to tell me the birds, they had the energy to fly 6 weeks without food or water. They can't drink salt water for 6 weeks. A bird, we know that's not science, because animals can't go 6 weeks without food and water because it takes energy to swim and to travel. So we know they did not travel this water because it would have took them months to get across to the Atlantic without food or water. They couldn't live. None of them. It was an impossible journey for any animal to cross the Atlantic on its own propel themselves across the Atlantic without any food and water for months. That's impossible. For any animal or man couldn't swim that ocean. You gotta sleep. The birds had to go without sleep for 2 or 3 months. So we know that didn't work. So how did the animals get? If we believe in the Bible, how did the animals get in America? Because America was moved from attached to Africa and Europe. It was moved by God over there. He set the stage. He prepared the thing. He prepared the earth for his will to bring the Israelites over here and chastise them, and to let these nations come over here because they're wicked. Remember, they're wicked. They don't have nothing to do with the Most High and his way to run the earth. They want to steal it and be gods of the earth and eliminate him because they can't see him. They don't even know him. He didn't talk to them. They're angry about all of that. So they took it out on us. So he set the stage for his purpose, right? He set all this up. This is his script. He wrote the characters. He wrote their scripts. This is all done by the Most High God. And he said in 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, I think I will go to that. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, when the angel was speaking the words of the Most High, talking to Ezra, and the Most High was telling Ezra, before he did anything, he wrote the script. Let's go look at this. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world. This is very important. Before the borders of the earth, of the world, stood, ever the winds blew, before the winds blew, before it thundered or lightning, ever the foundation of the paradise was laid, before everything, before the fireness of the beautiful flowers, the movable powers were seen, before the beautiful flowers were seen, or the movable powers were established. That's the word of God. Before he spoke and made before the movable powers were established, before he spoke and said, "Let there be," before that, before the innumerable multitudes of angels were gathered together, before he created the angels, which were the heavenly host, he thought about it. And so let us make man in our own image. He's talking about right here before the innumerable angels were gathered together. Right? Right? He spoke, and let there be angels, and then gathered them together. Let us make man in our own image. Okay, before all of that, ever the heights of the air lifted, measurements, the firmaments were named, or ever chimneys talked about volcanoes, right? Or ever present, or ever the present years were sought out before he, 365 days a year, make a year. The coming up, the sun going down and then coming up was a day. 365 days, it makes a year. And you got the months. Before all of that was sought out, before he, decided how to do that, how I'm gonna do that. He said, and are ever the invention of them that now sin were turned before they were sealed, that have gathered faith for a treasure before the Israelites and before the nations, did I consider. He thought about it. Now listen, this is the verse here. Did I consider these things? He's considered and thought about it. And they were all made through me alone. Through me alone, these things were made. And the Word was with God, and everything was made by the Word, who was with God alone. He was by himself with the Word. The Word was not a person, right? It was not Christ. Christ was the Word was Christ. And through none other, made by him alone and none other. He's stating that. He's making that perfectly clear. Christ was not a person. By me also they shall be ended. So just to go back to where we were, again, we're talking about this brother, how he set all this up. He set the stage. Move America over there, because I'm going to have them go over there. We're going to preserve them away from these heathens. I got to bring Judah down, the southern kingdom. I got to bring them down off their high horse, off their pedestal, because they're exalting their mind against the mind of God. Every generation gets worse and worse. They move farther and farther away from worshiping me in the proper way. All right? They move further into the wickedness of assimilating into the idolatry of the rest of the nations. Right? So he set the stage to end the Gentile times. He gave them dominion like he did everybody else when he created. Now there was in his plan that we would be allowed to choose right and wrong. We chose the knowledge of evil. That's where it all began. We chose the knowledge of evil. He gave us the knowledge of good. That means we understood and we experienced all the goodness of the earth. We wanted not to be robots. That's what Eve wanted. Eve today don't want nobody to tell her what to do. She wanted to be free. Detach me from this slavery attachment to Adam. Detach me from this black man. I want to experience the world for myself because I'm inquisitive. I want to see and experiment all my thoughts. I want to experience and experiment my thoughts. I got thoughts. Hey, I'm wise. I'm wise. I'm the mother to the earth. I have a womb. Uh-oh. I have an advantage over the man. Right? Look how he want me. Look how he look at me. Watch, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take some of my clothes off and look how he going to lose his head. His mind, look at his mind. His mind going to leave him. He ain't going to be able to think about nothing but getting next to me. All right? I got an advantage over him. These pheromones flow. They flowing now. He gonna come sniffing around. Look at the advantage I got over this man. And that's what the women are playing on today. That's what makes them whores. The fascination of the creating of the mind of the man. It's going to be a certain time of the month that this man is just going to automatically find me irresistible. Because I got an advantage. I have the womb. He needs this womb. He needs me more than I need him. All right, so that's what create whores. That's what create lasciviousness. The lust of a man for the woman is being weaponized by the woman and the devil to cause us to not think logically. It logically would mean by keeping the laws of the Most High God. That's how you think logically.
Entire continent, India. A real quick find right here. So we were looking at that book of synonyms from the Roget's International Thesaurus. And again, we keep trying to tell our folks, we are not Slavs, slaves, or descendants of slaves. That has nothing to do with us. That is not an Indian word. And that
we are descendants of slaves. We are descendants of slaves. See how you see his motive right here. He's trying to detach us from the story of our slavery. Even in Jeremiah, he asked Jeremiah, are we homeborn slaves? Oh, that's all we sent here to do is to be slaves. We've been in slavery over 7 times, and this ignorant nigga want to erase that. That's a part of our history, our culture. That's what gets us eternal life, you dummy. So all these books, he can find all of these books and just jump over the bestseller book, history references to man's history. He jump over that book. It's sticking up bigger than life. Trump held it up to the world as a message. We got y'all's book. We've got the book that everybody has read, but this dude right here. And you're going to tell me the people who think like him are not paid actors? His whole message on this channel erases the book. He said, we are not slaves, descendants of slaves. In other words, he's erasing who we really are. You hear me? Let's listen.
Doesn't apply to Indian people, all right? We are, if you want to be something, you would be an American Indian or Amerindian or Indian.
So he's talking about the byword. If you want a new byword, you take this one. We are not slaves, though. I'd be damned if we ain't slaves. If Trump, this dumb nigga, Trump got his soldiers marching through our cities, running us in the house, scared to come outside, took away our ability to have our own food, to grow our own food. You can't even have 2 fruit trees in your yard. It's against you doing the market. You doing the market I'll just say their names. You doing Sam Club and Kroger's and uh uh Myers, and all these markets that they get their food from uh government established. I'm saying like a government established uh agriculture. Right? They get their food from the white man. So if you grow your own food, then you doing the market. So you doing the groceries, the government groceries. You doing them a disservice, right? God grow food on the earth. You can't eat it. You got to eat what they grow. God grow food on your land. You can't eat it. You bet not eat that food or drink that water that fell in them buckets you got. Because you stopping us from making money over. You stopping us from controlling you. And we won't gather together and make God and come back to the covenant. And we rather have our citizenship with this wicked devil than have our citizenship with the Most High God. We are not slaves. We're not descendants of the slave. He's a damn lie. And I'm mad.
Prisoner of war, not a slave. Okay? Because look right here. Slav, we're not none of these. We're not Croatan, Moravian, Serbian, Slavonian, Slovakian, Serbian, or when.
So, thank you for all those different languages that they call us slaves. We were slaves to them. They know who we are, you dummy. They know we were the slaves. They all know. You the only one that don't know. We were slaves to all the nations. Y'all got it?
None of that. All right? Has nothing to do with us. All right, so we have one of many books, Indian Slavery in Colonial America, right? Right here. And let's look and see what it says. All right, so watch how we break this down, right? Because they lie and tell the truth in the same passage. But we'll catch it and we point it out so you guys
like you are doing. You see, he's aware that you can lie and tell the truth. He's taking their playbook and he's using it for them. He repackaged it as hey, I'm your friend. I'm going to show you how they deceived you, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to try to cover it up to where you won't notice.
See as well. All right, so let me make sure.
Deception is deception.
All right, so we got a little spoiler alert, but watch how they try to include the Asians in this one. Watch this. So there were many. It's not working. What's going on? Anyway, just follow along real quick. So there were many paths to enslavement. Capture and rage was but one path within European colonies. Remove this. Where natives lived under difficult circumstances, they could be enslaved through a variety of means. Mission Indians in Florida, the Southwest, and elsewhere in the Spanish Empire often were forced to work against their will with little or no monetary compensation. In New England, courts forced Native Americans, which is not true. And this is why it's not true, okay? So we went from Indians, right, to Native Americans. And there's two separate groups, but again, they always try to sneak them in.
See, and I like that. He was right about that. Why didn't they keep that? This is not even good English and good journalism, good writing. You can't keep changing the names of the subjects, right? You stay consistent. They teach you that in journalism. You stay consistent, else you would throw the message off. And that's intentionally when they change that name, they're trying to throw the message off.
To our stuff, and we know it's not true because found guilty on minor crimes into a lifetime of servitude. Natives could also be enslaved for debt or reclassified as Africans.
Now, see, okay, before he say that, I don't know I haven't watched this video. But the reclassified as Africans, meaning they brought 20 Africans over here and called them slaves, or the people that came from Africa on slaves on ships that with the white slaves. You know, they brought a lot of people over here from Europe when they banned the Moors out of Europe, and during the beginning of the Renaissance. They fled not only to Africa, but they fled to America, to the Americas, right? By way of Moorish transportation, right? The Moors had been doing converse back and forth. They had friendship set up. Even King James came from the Pacific side and went into Mexico and did trade and businesses and used workers and colonized, set up camps or forts to where they had what you call it what they call it now, where they set up the Americans set up camps in different countries. What do you call that? Well, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Set up base, foreign base here. The Moors already did that. They did it from the Pacific and the Atlantic side. And so they had transportation to get out of Europe and to come here. If they didn't want to go to Africa, they could come here. So, reclassified as Africans, you can either be an African on a plantation, or you can be, now that you're free, you can be reclassified as Negroes. You had two choices. And enslaved in places where, let's keep watching.
Name one time. Have you ever heard of a Asian, the ones that look Asian, the Native Americans, the Asians, were classified as an African?
That's true. What they're trying to confuse, they're trying to infuse them into the Negro culture. You know, they're trying to say these Native Americans, later on they're going to use that Native American title for a different people. Now they just switched from black Indians to these mulatto Native Americans. And then they say, and you see, they were always here. They were here because we reclassified them to Africans. So, you know, they were your people. They looked like you, but until it was up to that was their choice, to where they didn't want to mate with you guys anymore. They liked their skin color better. They liked they were more intelligent. They went to school. They had a different culture. They kept their culture separate from Africans, right? They didn't say Indians no more, because they were moving you from your identity. Even saying Africans was moving you from Indians. Reclassified them as Africans, saying they were black. Native Americans were black. Later on, they said we don't want to have anything to do with that black skin no more, because it's cursed on the earth, right?
Who are the African Americans, right? Again, with that video about the postcards and stamps, please inquire about it in the comments below, because we will show you where the Indian mascot, and then you look someplace else, and then they try to say he was an African American. when it clearly says right there that he was an Indian. So again, we have the Indians being reclassified as African,
That's right.
as in Afro-Indian.
Negroes. And then they classified when they reclassified the Indians as Africans, they were also reclassifying the Negroes that were free and living on plantations, who were the Indians, as slaves that they brought over here. They took their indigenous references, their indigenous identity. You're not indigenous to this land anymore because we moved you. You reclassified you as Africans. So therefore, you have no claim to say you were here first, because everybody know we brought them Africans over here. Now the Native American peoples, they separated them again from that African reclassification when they said these are the real Indians. You see that trick? They marched them on the Trail of Tears and sent them back up north toward Canada again and say, now these are the Indians, we're going to do them right. When these Indians were black, copper-colored people. You see the trick? This is perfect to show the trick, that the deception that was done.
Indigenous, as in Afro-Caribbean, as in Afro-American, as in African-American. The Indians, us, we are not Afro anything. Genealogy will prove that. So we come down to the intro, and it says, Indian slavery had become illegal. It was not unusual for friendly Indians to be kidnapped and sold into slavery. Many of the Indian slaves captured in North America were shipped to the West Indies to work as agricultural laborers. Others remained in North America and were employed in any number of tasks. In urban areas like Boston and Portsmouth, Indian slaves were domestic servants, unskilled laborers, and trained as artisans. Ownership extended across the broad spectrum of society, from ministers to merchants, from rope makers to sailors. On the Spanish missions, natives generally worked in the fields.
See? Now you see, this is proof right here. To you, all you Israelites who pull out your books and say, see, they brought us over here. That's the deception. See, they brought us over here. And the Indians had already, the Northern Kingdom had already moved by their own will, migrated down to the Caribbeans, where there's less food, more heat. You know what I mean? Less land. They already went down there and set up to be slaves under the Edomites. No. They segregated from being in a big number. We know that didn't protect them because the Most High was doing it. The way this land was covered, you know how long it took them to get off the coastline and into the interior? From 1492, just a small group of them, and they traveled that coastline, importing and going back and forth, until at least 1890 something. Yeah, even with the Union, until the Union Army, they did not move into the interior of America, or what they call America. They did not go into that interior. They went as far as they went into Indiana from the coast. They went over into Indiana, which they called Vandalia, Ohio. They called it Ohio. And down the coastline, all of that, let's see, Kentucky, Georgia, uh, tops of Mississippi, all that was Indian land. Pushed all the way to the west coast was Indian land. They went down up under Louisiana and stretched that over into Texas. They had, conquered up into Texas. Who wants that land anyway? That's desert. They moved out of that hot area and they moved into the full climate territory, the so-called Northern Kingdom. They let them have that coast and stuff. They wasn't going nowhere. They ain't shipping nothing back and forth. And they survived off of the interior of the land of milk and honey. And then in the 1800s, when the Union brought those Gatling guns and started the land grab in the colonies, then they started moving. They started deleting women and children and taking them into captivity. And they killed the buffalo. All of that. Remember, they deleted the buffaloes. Where the antelopes at? Where are the antelopes that was in this land? They got rid of the antelopes. They ate them. The deer is like what they call Gad. He is so elusive. You got to really hunt. He gone. The deer, he watching at all times. He ain't gonna take a drink of water without looking up and seeing, making sure it's safe. He's the most elusive animal. What about the mountain lion? They had to kill him. They had to delete him, that mountain lion. And so, excuse me. So this is how it all took place. They're not going to tell you. You can tell when people are paid actors for the administration, for the what's that other word? For the I almost said it. Yeah, you can tell when they are for white supremacy, when they work for white supremacy, because they won't tell the whole truth like it is. And they eliminate the Bible. All these groups that is eliminating the Bible and the true history, then they work for white society.
And then we have several videos that says that. And they have...
Oh, so you see how they use the Native American, the Northern Kingdom. They couldn't really, they couldn't really enslave the Northern Kingdom unless they put them in chains. Why? Because they knew the territory, and then they could move in and out of the interior to the coastal borders, and they had allies in Indian country. They had allies, so they could leave whenever they got rid. If you didn't have them chained, so that's why they had to pay them a little bit and befriend them and work with them from a treaty basis, because they could not really enslave them if they were not enslaved as children. That's why they had those boarding schools for Indian children, because they could indoctrinate them, miseducate them, teach them Christianity, and hold them under a guilty conscience. And we are white like Jesus. We are his people. The Most High God, he gives us messages for you. You're just slaves. We have to feed you and take care of you. That's the propaganda of the government right now. If we don't do it, y'all can't make it on your own. Tell that to a little child, he's going to believe it. He's going to believe you, the great white hope. You come over here to help us, because how would I eat if you wasn't feeding me? And then he look at you. That's why they always put these pictures up. Hey, this is how we do, y'all. You slaves. We had you. We brought you. We conquered you. We came. We saw. We conquered you. And you have no power against us. We are God's people. That's how he let us come. Where is God? How are you conquered? How are you conquered if God wasn't against you? Why are you in? Why are you in our captive in our hold? Why are we forcing you? You under the power of us? If you got a God, if your gods that you was worshiping, that your ancestors worshiped, were real and they cared about you, why are we holding you captive? Why do we have to feed and take care of you? How the hell they end up feeding us when they came over here and was starved to death and we didn't teach them what to eat, how to eat it, how to cook it, and everything. How to take baths, how to shave that hair off you because it got lice in it. From your head to your toe, you be covered with lice if you didn't shave that hair off of you. And y'all like them people. Y'all go sleep with them people, with them bugs crawling all over them in the bed. Y'all go lay next to them. They eat boogers. This is why they had them working. And they took those boat rides with the Spaniards and they made rope. They handled rope. They know how to pull the sails up and down. They could climb that rope and go up to the lookout bucket on those boats. Yeah. Domestic servants. Unskilled. How was we unskilled when we built the country? We built these buildings. Y'all was scared to walk. Y'all was scared to walk around on top of them tall buildings and skyscrapers. We did that. We did that. We built these buildings. We were the bricklayers. We were the masons. You mean to tell me Esau came in and chopped down them big trees and put them in the mill and did all of that? Shaved them down, made planks out of them. You mean to tell me Esau, the slave master, did that work? Y'all fools, man.
Pictures and description of the people, the Indians they're referring to, and they look like us. They're not Asians. They're not Europeans. They are Indians that look exactly like us today.
Fair use.
And here again, the sources down here, Indian labor, all right? Then we move down here, and it says indentures across racial lines, all right? Colonizing the children. So Indian youngsters in servitude, all right? Then we go to number 80.
Now wait, I just said that I didn't read that right. This is God-given knowledge that he will give you. When you read the Bible, this comes from the Bible. The knowledge that he's reading, I didn't read out of a book. I read titles of books and certain passages of their different books. Indentured servant. When you understand all of this and you understand the mind and the people and how God works, how Most High God works and how people work, then he will give you a full picture. I didn't read these books. He's reading it now. Everything I just told you, he read. I've been studying for 11 years and meditating on this thing for 11 years. And watching the Hollywood movies. Everything, man.
Right here, it says officials to designate Narragansett Indian people as Negro or Black. And then we have King Philip's War. We have a depiction of what he looks like with braids, and he looked like us, skin complexion phenotype, all right? And he was an Indian king. Again, down here, Indian labor. So, right here, we underline it in red. Stop referring to yourself as Negro or Black. That is not our identity. And again, we have an entire breakdown of a video that we use common sense, research, listen to the voice of reason, logic, to let you know that Indian is not just some word a European gave to us. That is...
Okay. the word Indian don't mean nothing, man. He got you majoring on minors. It don't make no difference. The bywords are identity was proof of their indictment of them, the words they gave us to label us, to keep from calling us our true identity. To remove us from our true identity, they put these words on us, which lead us back to our true identity. You got to listen to reason. Everything he said about the reasoning and everything. But us calling ourselves Indians, they gave that to us. We didn't change. I went through that. I don't want to be redundant. We went through that. Okay?
Incorrect. I want to use another word, but that is just incorrect. All right? We break it down
That's a lie.
step by step how it's impossible for any other foreign entity to give us the name Indian. It's impossible. Let us know in the comments below. We'll gladly.
Yeah, they gave that to us. They might not have said, "Hey, y'all Indians, we want y'all to start calling yourselves Indians." No, but they referred to us in their documents, and as they told our story, we're going to say Indians. And when we talk about them, they hear us talking about them, we're going to say those Indians, those N-words, right? Same as N-words, those N-words. That's who we are. If Indian means indigenous to this land, they told us it meant savages. They use it as they described us as savages. They use the word Indians. Thugs, Indians. Blacks, Indians. Did they ever one time say these are the Israelites? Yes, they did. They used to refer to us as the Israelites. How come he don't have that here in his writings? They had signs saying these are Israelite cemeteries, Israelite territory. They had all of that, but he's not using that, right? It's because he works for them. Let's keep watching. And Dane Calloway, he showed the signs that showed us as that they made reference to us as being Israelites, and he stopped teaching it too. Because he's on the same path, make money. He gets his videos, algorithm works better for him when he eliminates our true identity.
That video where we spoon feed you logic and common sense coupled with lies. Research.
Lies.
Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. If we haven't done so already.
All right. So yeah, I'm here again. This is a bad research, a bad video. Just resting on the Sabbath. And gonna get up here, eat some fruit. But I don't want to use this is where it started. This is where this video started. I think I'm gonna go back to that. Yeah, let me pull this all the way back. Okay. Let's go there. I'm kind of comfortable with that. Right. Let me sit up. Okay, see, I can sit up. Okay. So we'll just kind of end with this as a focus. We're going to put what we're going to do is use a different thumbnail. Okay. But all praises to the most high God.
Right here, make sure we know how to mess with this. right here, Casa de Colón, Cabildo de Gran Canaria. It's from a museum, right? Right here, from a museum. The museum's Cabildo de Gran Canaria. And let me move this out the way.
Okay, so fair use. You heard my commentary, and let's see. All praises to the Most High.